coding and all other projects, then that's about us page where we do all that. Because currently, if you go to Giveth.io, you actually read about the Giveth Galaxy and what is, there's no like, there is a mention of that, but it's like I don't think that's the right thing. Like, because as I said previously, Chris, like, yeah, we talked about Giveth a lot. We know what it is when people read about it on Medium or on our wiki or wherever they found about Giveth. Yes, but if you come to the website, it totally doesn't match that, right? So you don't get the story, you don't get the idea. And my goal with this landing page is to immediately get the idea what Giveth is, and sign up or find out more about it.
Yeah,
So
but that thing, like, because I think what you made a whole makes a whole lot of sense, but the fact, like, on what URL it will live, I cannot not tell you that it would be Giveth.io. It could be, but the chances are also very high that it could be dap.giveth.io, and that we just send people there because it's just a reality that, and that's the reason why the homepage is as it is. It's because Giveth works on so much more than the dap. And
exactly, and
so yeah,
yeah, and it's fine, but the core idea of Giveth is and will remain, right, in terms of what is the vision, right? And so this, like, yeah, I get your point. So at one point it may be something else, but this doesn't have to live on Giveth.io. It could be on DApp Giveth.io. It doesn't matter.
yeah,
What
I would. For me, it could be. Yeah, indeed. We'll see where we put it, but it's some many people want to go there, like, be able to go there directly, and now we have it. We have it. The homepage. We have like
Sure.
we have a link to DApp, but like more right now we're more like focusing on the community aspect because we are we're a community that is
Yeah,
doing
I
a lot
know.
of crazy things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know. I know.
from my point of view, from like more outside, I see as well. There's two different channels, two different people, and two different things. So
Yeah, it's true. We're Hey Danny.
Hey,
I
Danny.
just I just started actually the live stream because I was like, shit, Danny's gonna miss all of this, and there she is.
Mm,
um, yeah. So no. So that's another discussion. It's like we've had this discussion many times. It's actually one of the reasons that the previous DApp developers left Giveth because they were like, no, Giveth is the DApp, and like many people at that moment we were also doing a lot of social coding and governance experiments, and we still are, I guess. So it was like, nope, it cannot be just the homepage cannot just be about the tab. But indeed, I think it is a very good thing to have a homepage for like future communities. So I love that you're focusing on like the makers and starting your own project and so on.
yeah,
And yeah,
yeah,
makes sense.
and because like we have a product, right? So we want to communicate that product in like in terms of, yes, it's Giveth, but this is a product. This is what you can do with it. These are the benefits. These are the values, and this is our story and idea behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're interested in more features. These are all the features that we offer you. And if you want to learn more about us, this is what we do in general, right? And then this comes back to your questions whether this is going to live on Giveth.io or or dap.giveth.io. It doesn't matter, because at
Mm-hmm.
one point, if we are, and we are more than just a dap, right? We can still have the about us page that is similar to what currently we have on the Giveth.io, right? But in
Mm-hmm.
the future on the Giveth.io, there might be more projects and more stuff that you know um,
Yeah,
we,
indeed.
we just expand on that one, right? So this one can remain as it is adapt, right?
Yeah, and so that yeah, so that's
And we shouldn't mix those two in terms of like when we try to communicate what a dap is, right?
indeed, for people who want to have information about the DApp, it's really good to have just one place where they can find it. And right now, that's a little bit on mostly on the wiki, because I tried to update the DApp page there mostly. But yeah, and Danny, just to bring you up to speed, so what we're talking normally on the link you have, and is here the first one on the side as well. You can actually see a mock-up that Marco and Nick have been working on for a homepage for specifically for the DApp that is like a one pager that explains like this is the DApp and this is where you can start as a as a maker.
Totally. And I agree with everything you said, that it is very needed. And of course, there's a lot of history for why it is the way it is now. But as Marco says, this is our product and it needs its landing.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, Danny, the link that I shared is open now, publicly open, and commenting is allowed. Although you cannot edit it, I mean, you cannot edit the wireframe itself. I didn't find that option to allow it to make it public. Anyway, feel free to comment on whatever is there. I also left some comments, so I think you can view them. And yeah, I just want to continue finish the wireframe of the landing page.
Sure.
Nick, you can help me with that when you find time. So um, the main the main sections, right? This is what I want to define, how we want to guide user through the content, through the messaging, right?
Yeah.
To tell them what Giveth is, like keep it high level, right? And then if they want to deep dive into features or into whatever other things, that there could be a link like that opens a new page or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to get the main structure of the landing page, right? And then also the second one is the how it works. The how it works read features basically is a page where we explain our features in a more detail that can be a little bit technical, no problem there. But from the landing page, I wanted to remove all the technicalities and all the maybe blockchain specifics and keep it like high level, right? So
Yeah.
this is why I wanted to move that on the how it works, because if someone is interested in more features and how things works, then I'll click on that and I'm going to find it out about there, right?
This is a really clear demonstration of the transition that we're in. We've been in a very technical, how is it going to work? Is it working the way we thought it was going to work presentation that was specific to people who understand and want to know what's under the hood. And now you are just completely turning that to be for the users, and this is great. One of the things I just want to comment as I take a look at it that we've talked about before is that when you hit that landing page, all of our documentation talks about makers and givers and matching up the makers, the people who are creating the campaigns, with the givers, which are the donors. And something that I always care a lot about is expressing that we're all givers and we're all makers. It's just which role are we going to wear in that moment, right? When you're coming in, are you coming in as a campaign manager, as a person who's running a project? Are you coming in as somebody who wants to support existing projects, right?
Yes, I completely understand what you're saying. And by the way, just to give you context, well, when you said yes, I'm thinking about the users of this product and how I want to actually explain them what Giveth is. Yesterday, where I was doing that, I was actually speaking to two of my friends. I showed them this. They're not in the blockchain space. That they don't know anything about it except me talking about it, right? They probably don't have a wallet or a MetaMask or whatever. But when I showed them the wireframe, they were like, "Okay, so they understand. So I can do. I can create my initiative. So I can have my community." And they give me actually some valuable input there as well. And they wanted to find out like how people can donate money, but more so, how can people contribute to their project? How can people work for the project beyond donations, beyond just making the money, right? So
Totally. I think about that a lot. There's a campaign that we're going to bring up here this week that, it's not just money that they need. They have a wish list, and we've already matched some other types of resources. And the people who want to contribute to that project, I'm like, where do I match them up? What's our base community right now that these people can actually do that community, building a community around the cause part.
Mhm.
Mhm.
One thing I was just careful about is the matching thing, that we say, yeah, we provide you the means for or like the platform where you can find that match, right? But we are not matching. Like Like we don't have the mechanisms to match actual people with your projects. This is something that they will discover probably.
Yeah,
And then,
indeed.
so
And I
so
like,
I had to
yeah,
be
I like that
careful
way.
about communicating that, right?
Yeah, and I think you put it in a really good way. It's like it's clear from the beginning when I read it. It's like how fundraising works, and so it's how to grow your community, how fundraising works. But it's the thing that you have to do yourself. It's just a platform that helps you like
Yeah,
facilitate like actually getting that done.
exactly.
Hmm.
And by the way, when I talk about these two friends from yesterday, when I actually explain them a little bit more about the technicalities and how everything works, then it was like mind blowing, right? Come on, like
Yeah, no, but it's true.
why didn't you tell me that before? Like, come on.
Yeah,
So
it's like whenever you like get to it, it's like people are like, "Wow, yeah, I would give my money to this," because it's like, yeah, because it engages people. And
and
they're like can be a part of it as well.
yeah, and so I first got buy-in from them before explaining them the details. So that's the first thing, and then I got second buy-in when I actually explained them how things are in the background, how things
Hmm.
are. So like that's a huge thing for me. Like, okay, it's a small sample, just two people, but I will do more. But thinking about like these two guys, they have no idea what it is, and I just first time introduced this project to them, and they were like, "This is amazing! Like, this is great."
Yeah, no,
You know?
that's motivating because then you see that, and you see that what we're doing makes sense. And whenever every
Of course it
presentation
is.
I've given on
Yeah.
Giveth, people are like, "Oh wow, yes, of course, this doesn't make sense." But so just a thing in between also. So Danny, I also want to can't help myself, but I think it's
Mhm.
important. Like, I want to give my spontaneous feedback that I gave when I saw this. It's like I didn't know that Marco and Nick were focusing first on the website. I thought we were focusing on the depth. But on the other hand, the reason that I'm now like being more open to it, I would say, and that I think that does make sense, is that if we have this, yes, in the future, when we want to onboard more people, it's a very easy place to start sending people. And it's good to already have that. But even more important at this stage, the stage that we are at, is like if we apply for funding somewhere, then when they go to the website and they go to this website, they get it immediately and they see that we're legit. And like they're not, we have it on our website, but it's like, yeah, you have to click through to the wiki, and most of the people don't go for that second click. And like if we have it under, if we have a one pager like this, yeah, I think it will help us. I think it will actually get us help funding to get the wireframes that we want to make to translate them into actual an actual Give 2.0.
Yeah, I did. I landed into this conversation and realized this is a web page interface that's being looked at, not the actual DApp. And like I had to like rewind and go, okay, where are we at right now? And what you just said is also the same place that I got to. That while it
Yeah.
isn't, I was like, but our important thing right now is funding and having context, giving context to anybody who we ask to support our project is super necessary. And I don't think we can build that context right into the DApp. I think we need this
Yeah.
splash page first that then gives you what you need. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, so that's the thing. It's like when I went on this call, I was a little bit surprised, but now indeed, like my brain turned around a little bit as well in a good sense. But I still like, and I think it's important that the two of you get this as well. Like right now, like Griff is focusing really 100% on the common stack. And so like whatever meeting that is like Giveth focused, Griff is going to try to skip. And that is important for you to know. It's
No,
like
no, it's fine.
and it's also because the reason that he's doing is it's like I'm gonna help build this so that we can have this sustainable funding layers. That's also why the last time he went on a long talk about this, and it makes sense. And like right now for Giveth, yeah, if he wants to continue with Giveth, it's Griff's personal money. So like we're in a very like money wise, we are very limited, and it's causing some stress. So when we talked about that a little bit before, so when I see this, my proposal now would be is like yes, like let's write out this one pager and like finish it, but let's not work on it for a month or two. I do not want to do that. Like it's not going to be perfect, and it's still going to evolve because the DApp is going to evolve big time. But having this one online almost as it is, like you now created it, because I love it, just like filling in some of the text things, taking the use case, because we have the use cases and it's good to put one of those like up and front and center, and like putting that website live as soon as possible, and then continuing like on like building out the wireframes is going to make it possible for us to again get to that funding to, but then we can say like, hey, go to dab.giveth.io, you see what's up, and then these are the wireframes and the roadmap to actually why we are asking money to you guys, and then we can continue. And so that, because that's the thing, like every cent that we like have to ask to Griff right now is like something that he's, that hurts a little bit for him to give.
Sure. Completely
So
understand that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and by the way, who wants to go next?
No, just I completely agree because I don't know exactly where are your targets to get funding, but at least this will open up a whole broader range of people and to really understand what Giveth's about. So
yeah,
if you are looking for funding with this landing page, almost as if you put it the wireframe already, it tells a story very clear for anyone that does not even know blockchain. So it opens up to a whole more wider range of people and givers.
Yeah,
Even
and I
if there
think,
are big investors or whatever.
yeah,
And I think that could really help, yeah, for sure.
it's what we need for sure. Well, I think it's going to be a play in our advantage because we've applied, for example, to give one example for it was linked to the European Commission, and like we applied and we got a very high score on the application. But then when we went there and when we started talking about all the things that we were working on, they were like, "Oh no, they are." Our project was actually too complex for them.
Mhm,
That was also the
mhm.
feedback we got in the sense that they're like, "Oh no, they have their network, they don't need us." I was like, "Oh, we really need you." So like, if we would have a website like this that they can like before we even go there, just like click and see this on one page, like that's what Giveth is. Then like half of the work's already done.
Yeah. Remember the one thing that we said: simplicity,
Yep.
on a big picture, and we know what we want to communicate. What's important, like transparency in donations and accountability, and now we have sustainability. All this kind of stuff. But just to wrap this up, wrap up this meeting. Yes, we want to continue. Like I want to continue on the wireframes from that from the landing page for the sub pages that will be required as well. And just you shouldn't have any concerns about that, Chris. We're gonna work on this for some time for sometimes in the next month or two. My time is very limited right now, so I have to be very careful how I spend my time. I do as much as I can over the weekend for the Give It. So during the week I have other stuff to do and cannot simply don't find time to
No, no,
dedicate
no.
it.
And that's the thing, by the way, that like we have, if we want to actually put this online and get it this from wireframe to website, we have Kai, and Kai has bandwidth to actually get that live.
No worries. I mean, I said like I as I said, like I don't
Go.
ask for funding. I don't need that. So I do this just because I want to do it. So this is free,
No,
right?
no, but no, and it doesn't have to be free because we also have the principle like if you bring value, we want to give you
No,
something
that's
in
fair.
return.
That's fair. Completely
But
understand
that's
that.
not the point. My point is more like you don't have a lot of time,
I
and
know.
but we have like for example Kai who can like really just code it so that
Oh, of course.
that's the thing,
Yeah, sure, of course.
so that you can focus on okay wireframe done, I can take that off my list, and now I can continue with actually wireframing that
The rest
itself.
of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Where I would like your help as well is comment on what's currently there. Also, you will notice a bunch of pieces of content that I pulled from different sources that I was thinking about to how reframe them, rephrase them, or even find like a place for them on the homepage. Also, Nick, if you can jump in and then try to see the whole user flow on the homepage.
Yeah,
Just help me with that so we can move through this stage faster. So maybe like next weekend, I can then spend another day or two working on this and then moving to the next one. If we end up with 2-3 different ideas, we can also always do A/B testing, right, and then see what works best. And once we have this finalized, then I would like to do the visual design of the page, and then Kai can take over, and then we can move to the wireframing, the next thing, right? So that's how I see it, like in like in general, right?
No,
yeah,
that's
that
great.
makes complete sense.
And the reason why I wanted like you to collaborate on this, because I don't want to work in isolation and alone, and it's like really important. Like when I sometimes get stuck, whether it's like should I use a project here or a community or whatever question I might have, it's a great if you can come back to that and comment and reply and give your thoughts about that. So that's all right.
Cool.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds
I'll do
good.
that as well. And well, yeah, I will be working on this as well. If you can, I don't know if I can. I think I can comment now as well. Well, figure
Yeah.
it out, and we can go with that. It's a great start, Marco.
Yeah,
Looks
I
really
can.
good
Sure.
and very clear and well done.
By the way, Nick, we can move this to Figma. I just started with Whimsical, so I can just copy paste this to Figma, our Figma Giveth design, so everyone can access and even move things around because it's open, right? So whatever you prefer, I just like quick kickstarted this in Whimsical because this was easier for me, but you know we can move it to Figma or whatever.
Oh, we can test if we open it up and at least to put people commenting on it. I think
Yeah,
it will be a
if
great base to collect comments on here.
yeah, sure.
And
Like
if we
comment.
move to the visual design, we can move it to the Figma, of course. But before that, I think this is a great platform. Looks good to me anyway.
All right. That's it from my end. Anyone has anything to add, comment, or else? Or we say happy Monday to everyone.
Happy Monday. I'm sorry,
Um,
today I'm a bit distracted. I have a big thing to deliver tomorrow my job. I'm still here as well in my
yeah,
job.
no problem.
So I'm sorry to be a bit more absent today.
No, you were here. You were here. I think I was going to say the same in the sense like we have been having meetings since 9 a.m. this morning, and like I'm not used to that. So like my focus is totally dying. But no, well I'll try to comment in the next days. If I do not do that, Marco, please like ping me.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna remind you.
and we'll check it and we'll get back to you. Okay, cool. Well then we can call it a meeting and we'll
Yep.
see you guys for the next update live in 2 weeks.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Chris, I hope to see you.
Awesome.
Yeah, Nick. Yeah.
Bye, Danny.
Bye
You're
bye.
very welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining.
Yep.
Thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks,
See you next
Marco.
time.
Good job.
Cheers. Bye bye.
See ya.